Hello, everybody. FAI here, or I here, and welcome to Legend of Keepers. This is an indie roguelike title where you are playing as one of these free bosses, if you will. Now, I say bosses because in Legend of the Keepers, you are defending a dungeon, and in this case, you have three bosses to choose from: the Slaveholder, the Enchantress, and the Engineer. I've already got all three unlocked because I've been playing this for a little while off stream before I got this into the point where I wanted to present the game. So, in today's video, we're going to show you a little bit of how to play the Slaveholder. The Slaveholder is probably by far one of the strongest characters with the most life. Probably by far has the most power, and I know they have the most motivation. Speed, I don't know if they have the best speed, but now there are also two different modes that I have unlocked currently. The first mode is the default mode, which also can lead into you possibly gaining the bone capital if you win the game, and if you win the game as a demonic creatures, you get the stat tier. The bone capital, of course, is a trap, and the stat gear is a demon monster. These are the talents that I've chosen because I think they are the best. But if you ever felt like you made a mistake on your talent tree, you can always reset the talent tree, and you're off to the races. Customization is usually only unlocked if you, of course, decide to go custom mode on your game. But with that being said, let's get to work. Alright, so here we are. Now, at the beginning of the game, you will have monsters that will also help you defend your dungeon. But you also have your own personal abilities, which your talents are basically shown on the as the game progresses. But let me just show you how you can pretty much play the game and potentially be better, if you will. Alright, so like I said, you are the protector of this dungeon. You are the final boss, and your first move is to decide on the trap in this case. Each one of these dungeons are laid out differently, so it could be like monsters first, it could be trap first, it could be or it could be, monster or trap. It all depends. In this case, we got a trap, monster, trap, or a magic spell, monsters, and then if we win, the boss, or us. So in this case, we're going to look at each one of these heroes that are coming into this dungeon to try and defeat us. And we can see that they are pretty much weak to nature for the most part. Unfortunately, we can't gauge them all into one, pretty powerful first blow, so we're going to go ahead and drop off the rallying horn, which will allow us to have not only a morale decrease, but all monsters will have enraged. So these monsters will have enraged. We know that it's going to be poisoned, so we're going to be pretty much working towards having our orc here be kind of not only the tank, but also maybe decrease their morale, while our archer and our friend Garrix here are going to be, using nature to try and, pop down these guys. In the second case, we got, once again, the trap, so we're going to try to lower morale. This empty room is our spell room, so we are going to probably decide on a spell, and here, more than likely, we're going to be looking to, most likely, either try to demoralize them or, try to take care of the back line with the fire. And yeah, let's get started, shall we? Alright, so the trap went off there. Now we have Enraged on our team, as you will see here. So first things first, we're going to give our hero here, the Priestess, a pretty much a good little hit with our poison or sword dagger. And yeah, now we're going to hopefully not have too much problems here. Alright, that was pretty good. So yeah. Of course, the orc here is going to demoralize them a little bit more. We're going to continue our poison strikes here on the back and front line. Because again, they're both weak to poison. I mean, yeah, their mage not so much, but you know. But the priestess is definitely fairly weak to poison, so yeah. Alright, well, that was unfortunate, but it's okay. We can demoralize them. Now we get to spell, and more than likely, yeah. So we're going to end up destroying the priestess here, which will demoralize them a little bit more. And now we are basically in a demoralization state. We're going to probably scare off the monk here. And unfortunately for their little friend, yeah, he's dead. So now the monk here, or novice here, is fairly scared. So we're just going to make him run away. And now he runs away like a little coward. So now we get to choose a trap. Now, when it comes down to traps, I mean, obviously at the end of the day, don't worry too much about the traps. Just choose whatever one you feel like getting. But in this case, we're going to get them around. Now, every time, of course, this is something that will happen. Every time you do lose in a fight, your monsters will lose a little bit of motivation. But as the slaveholder, you are pretty much relying mostly on your monsters, very, very unlikely onto your traps, somewhat onto your spells, and then you can keep morale pretty high. So, you know, your life per week is going to be pretty high overall. Alright, so now we come to our first choice, which is engineer or trainer. In this case, we're going to go trainer. And when it comes to training your monsters, I guess this is a bit of a how-to video, especially with being the slaveholder. When it comes to training your monsters, you want to try training your backline first, because your backline is going to be your backline will be your first or your last line of defense. So keep an eye out on who your backline is and determine who you want to bring in based on that, everybody. So we've only had enough gold for those two, but that's fine. Now we could go to the collectors and give them some of our life for more gold, or we can go to the event. In this case, I think we're going to go to the event, and yeah, there was nothing there, so okay, so we got a mad scientist doctor, so I think we're going to pay the spider. And now we are going to be continuing our adventures. So, as y'all see, we have a new character in the room. And yeah, let's go ahead and continue. And I think this will be the last little bit of how to play, as it's a fairly simple game, probably by the way you suspect things. At first, always look at what is the weakness going around. So it looks like it's going to be mostly physical, so we're going to keep that there, put him there, and yeah. Bring back Garex, because he is physical as well. Now, here, it's an interesting decision. At this point, we know they're all weak to armor, so I'm going to put down the circular saw, just to try and throw them off their game, and here we're looking to mostly try to scare them off. So, yep. And if they do make it this far, I guess we will demoralize. No, we'll throw the fire trap down, the mortar down, and then they'll run into us as boss. But yeah. So it is kind of like card games if you've ever played card games, but it's also kind of like you know, your typical dungeon crawler to a degree, if you will. so, so there's that. You know. Anyway. Uh-huh. So don't worry too much about your front line, everybody, because at the end of the day, your front line will be, you know, more or less a little bit weaker than your back line. And your back line is, of course, the last line of defense for of course, your team. So I would expect you to, you know, utilize that as you can and where you can. Anyway, so this didn't work out very well. And every once in a while, you'll have someone like this elf who has one spell that will give them massive healing to a degree. So keep that in mind when you are playing. That, you know, there are going to be some spells that can help you. At this point, I think we're going to give them Burning Whip, try to demoralize them a little bit further. And yeah. Alright, so demoralize you. Yeah, Spectacle Wave, and you were okay. Not that great, but still okay. Alright, now the demoralization has come into play. We now come into trying to finish these guys off. Now, at this point, I think we're going to try to scare off the exile, and because his morale is fairly low compared to everything else. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to do. We'll just scare the dead here, and we're basically just going to demoralize them, try to scare them off, stop them from, you know, sticking around. We're going to make them escape or run away from the dungeon. And that's pretty much the plan here. So we're just working to scare this guy off. Alright. Whoops. Oh well. Just got off here. Yep. The next you're dead. We'll scare him off and he'll run away like a little coward. Or not. That'll make him run. There he goes. And that's pretty much it. So we got a master bonus, which means we can choose whatever we want to potentially help us get a little more power. And I think we're going to go ahead and choose Invitation just to keep up our terror if we need to. And now we come into a problem with things. As you can see, once morale moves pretty low down, I tend to move this one person like back into the barracks just so that they can recover from the terror that they had. But with that being said, I think we're moving on. So yeah, this is pretty much how the game works, everyone. And with that having been said, I mean, thank you everyone for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully this video, as it is, has helped you with becoming better at at Legend of Keepers, and I hope that you enjoy this particular gameplay. But with that being said, thank you everyone for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching today's video. We will continue with more Legend of Keepers eventually, but until the next one, everybody, thank you for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. I hope that this has helped you maybe get a few tips and maybe learn how to play a little bit more of the Slaveholder. The Slaveholder's main idea is to have his monsters be strong, leading into keeping morale up, and of course having spells and traps be a minor ordeal, if at all anything. But with that being said, thank you everyone for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out. Hopefully this video has helped you. If you have any questions about Legend of Keepers, you want to know if it's worth the money or anything like that, feel free to ask that in the comment section below. But until the next one, everybody, with that being said, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I will see you all on the next one. But until then, everyone, farewell.